On August 28th of 2024, 34-year-old Tyshael Elise Martin was arrested in Lake County, Florida, and she was charged with the first-degree premeditated murder of 9-year-old Jamaria Sessions, as well as aggravated child abuse and child neglect. So, if that doesn't already tell you that this case comes with a trigger warning, then let me stress that this case is so unspeakable. It is so devastating. I found it very difficult to read through all the details in the probable cause affidavit and study all the files that I received from a Freedom of Information Act request. It's really sad, so please know that if you at any point during this video need to step away for your own well-being, and you can always come back later and finish it if you can, I fully understand, because it's truly sad. So this case being that Tyshael was Jamaria's stepmother. Reminds me a little bit of Gannon Stauch's case. Remember Letitia Stauch? If you don't know about that case, there is a playlist for you if you want to catch up there. But just the projection of anger, resentment, hatred, just everything inflicted on this child is just unimaginable. So what we're going to do today is deep dive the timelines so that you actually understand what we're watching when we get to it, meaning the body cam footage and the police video interview, especially of Tyshael Elise Martin. And I think it's important because these videos have been out for a little bit, in the public, but I just find that when I watched them for the first time, I was very confused of like, okay, wait, but who's who and what happened and who's she talking about now? And did that really happen or is she lying? Well, now, after deep diving this case and putting together this timeline for us, I understand it better, and that's my goal for you. That first, we can have a really good grip on this case, and then we can study the police video interviews together, because then it's going to make so much more sense, and then we can really call out Tyshael's BS that she's telling to the police, okay? So, snarky pants on, but also trigger warning. Let's get into the timeline. Please note that this content is for educational purposes and for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. More details available in the description box. Jamaria Sessions was born on January 15th of 2015. Her mother was Tadrina Dort, and her father, I've got to do this in air quotes, he's also been charged with aggravated manslaughter, by the way. Okay, so her father was Lawan Sessions. She had a younger biological sister who's 3 years younger than her. Their mother had been receiving threats and angry insults from the girlfriend of this father. Okay, so mom and dad no longer together. Dad was incarcerated. Dad had a girlfriend called Tyshael Elise Martin, the step monster in this case. And so that Tyshael was harassing and verbally abusing the mother so much that Jamaria and her sister's mother, Tadrina, got protective orders against her. There's police records of that as well. So that also tells you a little bit more about Tyshael. On September 13th of 2022, their mother died from congestive heart failure after beating cancer. She had leukemia, and she was fighting so hard to stay alive for her girl. She so wanted to, of course, raise her daughters, love her daughters. They were very close, and she died, which is just so devastating that these two little girls lost their mother. Oh my goodness. So that already sets the tone for how this case starts. That's devastating and traumatic. Two grieving girls, and what happens next is unthinkable. Jamaria was murdered on June 17th of 2024. Now let's first look at this dad. In October of 2020, Lawan Sessions was sentenced to 5 years in prison. His charges included, unfortunately, things you have to read on the screen, I can't say on YouTube, but moving substances around, and 2 counts of felony child neglect. Why? Because he left Tyshael and the kids inside a vehicle and fled because the police were chasing him. He knew he was going to get arrested. So he literally abandoned his girlfriend and the kids and ran. And then eventually there was a car crash, which I didn't get the details of that, like if they were just left there and no one was in the, in the driver's seats. But there was a car crash and it injured 2 of the kids to the point where they had to be airlifted to a hospital, the Arnold Palmer Hospital. Okay then. Also, he has a very shady past. If we look at just that screenshot, and believe me, his rap sheet is long, but let's just look at that screenshot on the right-hand side, which was from 2016. The Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida said, busted. The OCSO person squad has arrested 18-year-old Donta Willie Shorthair for carrying a concealed weapon and 18-year-old Loan Sessions for attempted homicide. Detectives say Sessions and Swilly exchanged gunfire on Tuesday afternoon at a Citgo gas station parking lot on North Pine Hills Road. An innocent bystander was shot in the abdomen as a result of the exchange and was treated and released from the hospital. 4 area schools were in lockdown while the incident was being investigated. We thank everyone for their cooperation. So, yeah. All right then. And now he's back in jail facing charges of aggravated manslaughter. In October of 2023, after their mother passed away, the 2 grieving sisters were living with their grandmother. So their mother passed away in September of 2022, and then they went to live with their maternal grandmother, right? Miss Althea Chano. Their grandmother was fighting for full custody of the kids, probably knowing there was a risk that when their father got out of prison, that he would want to see his kids. So on October 24th of 2023, Loan Sessions, got out of prison and did exactly that. He went to the school that his daughters attended and picked them up. He basically abducted them from school, and it seems like there was nothing anyone could do because family members had called the police, they called CPS, they had told everyone about their concerns, and it seems like nothing was done. So, he made them live with his girlfriend, Tyshael Martin, and her 4 daughters, aged 5, 11, 16, and 17, in Tyshael's mother's house. So it's a house that Tyshael's mother owned. Tyshael lived there with her 4 daughters, and he was living there for a time, but later moved in with his mom, okay? In December of 2023, Loan sent Jamaria's little sister, okay? So Jamaria was 8, and the sister was 5. All right? And so they send this little sister to go and live with Loan's mother, so her paternal grandmother. And they leave Jamaria in the home with Tyshael and the 4 kids as the only non-biological person in the house. And that, for a grieving little girl who'd lost her mother, who'd just been ripped out of school, ripped out of her grandmother's house, is already devastating. That's already enough. It's too much. But it gets so much worse than that. So why did they send the little sister to go and live with his grandmother? They said because she was misbehaving and causing strain in the relationship between Loan and Tyshael. So yeah, when you see her mugshot, she does not look like this. This was like major Snapchat and TikTok filters and wigs and things. So just know, if you're wondering who's that, yeah, that's Tyshael. Investigators say that there is a known history of Tyshael and Loan being involved in dealing illegal substances and having a history of exposing their children to dangerous situations. Family members said they made multiple reports to DCF, the Orange County Police Department, requesting welfare checks on the girls and expressed their concerns of abuse at the home, and they were absolutely right. They must be horrified to think, but we told you, and you didn't do anything about it. And if that's true, that is very, very upsetting. So their auntie Skylar said on Facebook, my niece was loved and wanted, and he took them out of spite and didn't even want them. Which is quite something, if that's true, because their mother had died. You know, so who's he spiting? Is he spiting the mother's family? Is he just doing it just because, even though their mother had passed away, he's just like, I'll take them anyway. Which is very likely the exact outcome that their mother didn't want. Now on May 31st of 2024, Tyshael, her mother, her 4 kids, and Jamaria traveled to Miami, Florida, and they stayed in an Airbnb until June 2nd. Loan didn't go along because he was on probation, so he couldn't go on a ship cruise to the Caribbean. They then boarded a Carnival Cruise Line ship. This trip was funded by Tyshael's mother. They went to the Caribbean until June 9th, and then Torsha, Tyshael's mom, returned to California, and they returned to Montverde, Florida. Okay, so Tyshael, her mother, Tyshael's 4 kids, and Jamaria went on this cruise. And this is why I'm saying there's lessons to be learned, because if people were a little more observant, of the situation, maybe they could have read the room and asked Jamaria if she's okay, because she clearly was not okay in plain sight on this cruise ship. Tyshael later told police that Jamaria had signed herself out of Camp Carnival, which would be like a kids' camp, right? And was wandering around the cruise ship alone, and that she had to be disciplined. She also concocted a story, and I mean concocted a story like a total lie, okay? And you'll hear about that in the police video interview. You'll hear her literally talk about that. Big eye rolls. So she said that Jamaria was flashing a boy from the balcony of her suite while at port, and said that Carnival Cruise security tracked down the room, and then they confirmed that it was Jamaria who did that. And she also added that the witness, the boy who was flashed, identified Jamaria as the flasher. Now that, put a pin in your mind with that, because that tells you how much Tyshael's willing to make up about Jamaria, how much she's willing to degrade her and shame her, and how much she's able to influence others to participate in the abuse. So we'll get to that. So they said that investigators contacted Carnival Cruise Line, and they said that while at the Camp Carnival on day 1, they noticed that Jamaria was withdrawn, sleepy, and quiet. None of the other stories ever happened. There was no such thing as anyone flashing anyone, security confirming anything. They did say, though, that they asked Tyshael to sign Jamaria out from Camp Carnival because of, that she wasn't participating because she was withdrawn, sleepy, and quiet. And that was on the first day, and she never got signed back in. So there's a lesson there. For the people who were running this Camp Carnival and had a lot of kids there, seeing one child on a cruise ship on vacation, so withdrawn and sleepy and quiet and not participating, hopefully the lesson would be to ask questions. Now, the victim might not actually answer the questions. They might say, I'm fine, everything's great, because of fear of retaliation from the abuser. But I still think it's worth asking, like, are you okay? Does anything hurt? Do you have any bruises? Anything, because maybe they can report that to the police then, and it could save a life. Now, Lohan says that on June 10th of 2024, Tyshael told him that Jamaria went with, I think it was actually her mother, to California. Because remember, the cruise was from June 2nd to 9th of 2024. So they were back in Florida, meaning Tyshael, her 4 kids, and Jamaria on June 9th. And yes, she's sending this text message to say, oh, Jamaria went with, I think, her mother because she lived in California. That's so weird. Why would you send your stepchild with her step-grandmother to California? But anyway, as true to form here, he just accepted it. He's like, oh, okay. All right, so Lawan said he didn't see Jamaria at the house over the next few days because he was, kind of living there. He eventually moved out. We're going to get to that. But all right, he didn't see Jamaria there. That's a red flag, especially now that we know Jamaria was in the house that entire time. All right, so we're going to speculate later where she could have been. On June 12th of 2024, he and Tyshael had an argument. She sprayed him with bug spray while he was sleeping, and then he moved out in the early morning hours of the 13th and then officially into his mother's house. Police said that Jamaria was in fact at the house since they arrived back on June 9th of 2024. Lawan is said on reports to have been in disbelief, like so shocked he didn't see her at all, right? What was he up to though? Why was he so distracted? Well, he's a terrible parent, one, but he was also busy having an affair with another lady. So his focus was elsewhere, and he also got that other lady pregnant. Now, we have to take that factor into account because I'm sure Tyshael found out about that at some point, and that would add to her anger that she projected on his daughter, Jamaria. Now, again, pin this in your mind that he didn't see Jamaria at the house. We're going to get to the details of where I think she could have been. So when police interviewed the kids all separately so they could see, if they could get a true story out of this, because clearly Tyshael and Lawan don't really tell the truth. So they interviewed the kids and they confirmed that yes, they all went on a cruise and they returned on June 9th of 2024. On June 16th of 2024, Tyshael drove them all to Orlando International Airport to catch a flight to California to visit her mother, Torsha. See, so there is a little bit, she took a little bit of truth and she just wove it in there into a story and timeline, even lying to her boyfriend, Lawan, right? And so they all missed the flight. Jamaria was not feeling well, and Tyshael had given her a banana and a Gatorade, which she then vomited up in the car. When they got to the airport, Jamaria expressed discomfort while walking through the parking lot to get to the terminal. So Tyshael was trying to get her a wheelchair, and this caused them to be delayed and they missed the flight. So now can you imagine the step monster's anger? Because here they all were going to California, and she would be blaming Jamaria, saying, oh, I got you a banana, I got you Gatorade, and now you can't even walk properly, and so let me get you a wheelchair. Look, now we all missed our flight. So that is so sad, because knowing more about the case, we can plausibly speculate that the reason that Jamaria wasn't feeling well, the reason she had trouble walking through that parking lot, is because she was being abused so much at the home. And I'll give you a little mention because we're going to get to what happened to her, but I mean being kicked, attacked by a dog, being all sorts of things, okay? So no wonder she was feeling so terrible, and how sad to think that that was a day before she died. A day before she died, they all missed a flight to California. And I could just imagine Tyshael saying it's her fault because she didn't feel well. And it's her fault because they had to try to get her a wheelchair. I can't imagine what she went through. Now, Tyshael apparently rebooked the flight for June 25th of 2024. When they got home, one of the kids was straightening Jamaria's hair with boiling hot water from a kettle, which then splashed onto Jamaria's foot. This kid said that Jamaria didn't even react. She didn't flinch, she didn't scream, she didn't react, she didn't complain, which also tells you just how much abuse she had already suffered. And they said she was already wearing a compression sock due to a recent ankle injury, allegedly from tripping over dog food in the middle of the night. Obviously, we don't believe that, right? So, no medical attention was sought for any of her ankle injuries, other injuries, and not for the burn either. When the compression sock was removed later that day on June 16th of 2024, the skin on the top of her foot came off. And yet she hadn't complained, hadn't screamed, hadn't cried. Isn't that just so devastating? To think how much she'd been through, that didn't affect her. She felt nothing anymore. Completely hopeless, completely alone, no one to protect her. The kids admitted that they had permission to physically discipline and punish Jamaria. Punishment included wall sits, running in place, running on a treadmill, depriving her of toys and electronics, and hitting her with an object. Now, it's horrifying to think that Tyshael got her 4 kids to participate in the abuse against Jamaria. But as I said earlier, what to put in your mind, remember the stories that Tyshael concocted? I mean, saying that Jamaria flashed a boy and security confirmed it and all of that. I can't imagine what she told her daughters about Jamaria. Why Jamaria deserved punishment. I saw a live stream that was done by Tyshael's brother. I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. If you look up Tyshael Martin, it should come up. And he was, saying that there must have been something that made Tyshael so angry. And he's always going to be there for his sister and all of that, which is just, if you know about this case, that's also pretty horrible. But see, that mentality of like, well, what did the victim do? Why was Tyshael so angry? Why was everybody in the house punishing her? Coercive control from a major abuser in the house, influencing her kids to project the same hatred, resentment, and everything onto Jamaria. It's so devastating, and we've seen other cases like that before, right? So, yeah, while the other kids each had their own room, furniture, bed, etc., Jamaria did not. She had to sleep on the couch or on a crib-sized mattress in another child's room. So she didn't have anything but her clothing to call her own. She also was not allowed to sit with other kids, to eat with them or drink with them. She was notably absent and purposely excluded in day-to-day activities. That quote is from the probable cause affidavit. On the evening of June 16th of 2024, Tyshael was with Jamaria that night, but she claimed that she was sleeping from 6 p.m. until 4 a.m. And then she says she was going to wake up all the kids and they were all going to get ready for this trip to California, even though she messed up all her dates. And then, wow, she discovered Jamaria was like cold to the touch and she had no idea why. She just knew she was sleeping and then she died. Right. But then there was a lot of injuries all over Jamaria's body that you will see later when we watch the police video interview, how she tries to explain those away. It's horrifying. On June 17th of 2024, deputies received a 911 call. It was Tyshael who called them, but using her mother's phone. And she said that Jamaria was cold to the touch. She was unresponsive and could they hurry. She was found naked with numerous abrasions, puncture wounds, bruises, and a burn mark on her foot and possible bite marks. So now we know what the burn mark was from. Jamaria was pronounced dead at the scene at 9 years old. The medical examiner ruled her death a homicide caused by complications from blunt force injuries to her head, torso, and extremities, and they said in various stages of healing, thermal injury of right foot, and probable rhabdomyolysis, and severe abuse likened to torture. Now that, I didn't know what that was yet, so I researched it for us, so let me quickly read what that is. They said rhabdomyolysis is a serious medical condition where muscle tissue breaks down rapidly, releasing proteins and other substances into the bloodstream, which can overwhelm the kidneys and lead to complications like kidney failure. So in the context of this case, rhabdomyolysis could potentially be relevant due to the severe physical trauma that she endured. How sad is that? It's like muscular and skeletal breakdown and kidneys start malfunctioning because she's being abused so much. They say oftentimes blunt force trauma, especially repeated, can cause that. The only previous medical attention that Jamaria had received since her father took her was in March of 2024, and that was for a severe dog bite. Her dad took her to the hospital. Now later we learned that those dog bites were not just accidental. That was Tyshael sicking her Rottweiler onto this little girl. So the police have video evidence of that. They have not released that to the public. And honestly, I think even if they did, I don't think it would be watching that because it sounds truly horrifying. The description is enough. Jamaria's body was covered in pinch marks, bruises, lacerations, and contusions. Oh my goodness. Tyshael said it was from her falling on the treadmill and falling down the stairs. See, there's the victim blaming right there. Lacerations were explained as, well, she had a reaction to something, and she was picking at those reactions, so it's her fault. Blue Star reagent proved that those claims were unfounded. However, there were reactions in a downstairs hallway leading to a small closet, and in the small closet, on the stairs and the master bathtub. Now there, what I told you to pin in your mind as well earlier is when Lawan, her dad, was at the house, between June 12th and 17th, and he's like, well, she was nowhere to be seen. I speculate she was in that small closet. So a lot of Blue Star reagent reactions were in the closet, which means possible presence of blood. That's what that would mean. That is so scary. She was probably locked in that closet the whole time that he was there in the house. Obviously, he would come and go. He was having an affair and had his, college lessons and all sorts of things that he was doing with his selfish life. I'm all for rehabilitating oneself, going to college, doing courses, doing things, working, but having an affair and neglecting your children and in fact encouraging the abuse is just next level. Okay, so keep it in context with what I'm saying. So on June 17th of 2024, Tyshael consented to the police checking her phone. They found images of the abuse and messages between Lawan and Tyshael, and Lawan was accusing Tyshael of abusing Jamaria. Now note that Tyshael's only source of income was apparently child support. Police found messages where Tyshael was almost bragging about the ongoing abuse of Jamaria, bragging to Lawan. The father of Jamaria. Loan sometimes made jokes, he was dismissive, or he even encouraged the abuse of his own daughter. Tyshael told the police that Loan was in California when they were supposed to fly to meet him for vacation that day. He had left a few days prior, according to her. But he'd never left the state because he was on probation. He couldn't leave. So that story was also a lie. So when you hear that later in the police video interview, in another part when we study that, yeah, you'll know that she's absolutely lying. She said when she went to wake the kids up, she found Jamaria cold to the touch. Meanwhile, her phone data shows she was with Jamaria that whole night, which is also scary to think of. What was she really doing? I highly doubt she was there by her side trying to nurture her. No, I think quite the opposite. On June 25th of 2024, let's look at this now. There was a search warrant executed at the home and on electronic devices. They obviously got everything they needed. They found that from the surveillance footage at the home, 95 videos were deleted from June 12th of 2024 by a single user on that account. That's scary, knowing what videos they found. I can't even imagine what was deleted then. They say on June 15th of 2024, 6 videos revealed some of the horrifying abuse that Jamaria suffered. Remember, June 15th is 2 days before Jamaria was found dead. So 2 days before she died, she was nude and being attacked by Tyshael's Rottweiler at Tyshael's command while Tyshael held the leash. This surveillance camera caught that. So trigger warning, massive trigger warning, okay? Jamaria, after being attacked by this Rottweiler, was commanded to stand in the room with her arms up. She was disorientated. She leaned forward to pick up a blanket to cover herself because she was naked. She'd just been attacked by this dog at the command of Tyshael, who was training her dog basically to be a weapon. Oh my goodness. And so she's standing there naked, she's disorientated, she's swaying, and she grabs a blanket to put over her body. And that triggers Tyshael to kick her. So there's no way for me to summarize what they wrote here on this probable cause affidavit. So I'm going to read this part to you. But again, you see on the screen, massive trigger warning. They said that Sessions exhibited an orbital sway, so that's Jamaria, appearing to be disorientated, similar to being intoxicated, and leaned forward to pick up a blanket to cover herself. This prompted Tyshael Martin to deliver a kick to the rear of the child, causing her to collapse to the floor. The child lay motionless, moaning in pain, as Tyshael Martin continued to kick her hip and eventually her stomach area at full force. When the child did not get up, Tyshael Martin then grabbed the child by her hair, pulling her across the floor with minimal resistance by Jamaria Sessions, who appeared to be disorientated and motionless. The child was dragged in the stairs, which is where the dog attack occurred, which was just out of frame. Tyshael Martin continued to command the child, Jamaria Sessions, to stand up, as Jamaria physically could not comply. Jamaria was repeatedly struck and shaken by Tyshael Martin. The next video clip begins with Tyshael Martin stating what sounds like, "I'm fixing to kill her," which is also why they charged her with first-degree premeditated murder. During these videos, another one of Tyshael's children was near the top of the stairwell based on video recordings and appeared to be on her mobile device. And another child was present in the room with her mom as the attack happened, witnessing it. One of the children is observed during the abuse of Jamaria Sessions holding her Apple iPad. Another series of videos captured in the early morning of June 15th of 2024 starts with Tyshael Martin closest to the camera, walking toward Jamaria Sessions in the middle of the room, who appears to be running in place with her hands extended above her head. Although partially blocked by a cardboard box for a 55-inch TV, it is evident that Tyshael Martin, using her right leg, kicks Jamaria Sessions in the hip or lower back area, causing Jamaria to fall over a bag of dog food. Remember when I said that Tyshael blamed a lot of the injuries found on Jamaria's body on, oh, she tripped over dog food in the middle of the night. That's why she had an injured ankle. All those lacerations you see, it's not from me. It's not from my fingernails or me pinching her. That's from her picking at something that she, some rash or something that she had. Yeah, you're going to see all that when we study the police video interview together. So, okay. They said Tyshael Martin then pursues Jamaria Sessions out of the room, telling her, get the F upstairs and hurry the F up. This is likely how when Jamaria Sessions received the injury to her right ankle. The remaining 2,000 videos were screened and analyzed. And so we go on with the timeline. On August 28th of 2024, Tyshael Martin was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and child neglect. Lawan Sessions was arrested the following day and charged with the aggravated manslaughter of a child. Investigators believe that he was aware of the ongoing abuse inflicted by his girlfriend, Tyshael, and did nothing to stop it, sometimes even encouraging it. In text message conversations between Lawan and Tyshael, which lasted weeks, they often joked about the abuse, made comments about boot camp, and creating a torturous environment in which Jamaria would suffer long sessions of extreme exercise and extreme physical abuse far beyond traditional corporal punishment. Both are being held in the Lake County Jail without bond. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty against Tyshael. Just look at this beautiful little girl. Also, look at the difference in the photos. Look how skinny she was getting. And that was actually taken on the 20th of January of 2024. Remember that she died on June 17th. They said she'd also suffered a lot of malnutrition. She was being starved, beaten, kicked, having the dog commanded to attack her, stripped naked, burnt. It's just absolutely unthinkable. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, Tyshael is facing the death penalty. However, while her trial was supposed to start, things always do get delayed a few times. So I don't know. I was also not sure it's really starting on February 10th. It seems not to have. There's plea negotiations happening behind the scenes based on what I can see on the court docket, and sentencing hearings being scheduled. If we see that, if they stream that, obviously we can watch that together. But I don't know right now when her trial date will be, or if she is actually going to accept a plea deal and maybe then not face the death penalty. I'll keep you posted. But is this not just, I don't even have the words, utterly devastating? It literally makes me feel so nauseous just thinking what happened to this little girl, and thinking that Tyshael got her daughters to participate in this, to sit there while this was happening. Those are the signs of coercive control and an abuser just running rampant in this house. And people will ask, why did these daughters, remember the ages, one was 17. Why would they be participating in this punishment or observing it? Well, one, to avoid being punished themselves by this monster. But two, also that's the effect of coercive control. That's the effect of that brainwashing from Tyshael and her telling them why Jamaria is so naughty, deserves this punishment, that she needs to be corrected, all of that, right? Now, I don't think there's any excuse for it. I cannot imagine that. I can't imagine living in that house. It must be just, I don't even know. I don't have the words, but yeah, I'm so glad that Tyshael was apprehended and that she is going to face the consequences and will probably spend the rest of her life in prison, absolutely where she belongs, and she must never have contact with her kids again. They did actually order that at the time, which is how they actually got the search warrant going, because she violated that. They said, well, okay, we're taking the kids into our care. When Jamaria died in the house, you may not contact your kids. While we're investigating, we're looking into this, she contacted her kids, and so they're like, okay, time for a search warrant, let's go in. And the horrifying evidence they found. As I say, imagine the videos that she deleted. If the videos that they found are just unspeakable. I can't even imagine being the investigators who had to watch those videos. Okay, now let's start diving into some of these files. This is from, as you can see on the screen, June 17th of 2024, which is the day that Jamaria was found deceased in the home in Montverde, Lake County, Florida. This right here is Tyshael Elise Martin, and she's speaking to the police. This is the body cam, okay? So this is 25 minutes long. We're going to watch this together, and let's unpack what she says and see if there's any truth to it, which I highly doubt. All right, so let's watch this body cam. Remember, she wasn't arrested on this day. They just wanted to talk to her about, like, what the hell happened, what's going on. This is the initial police conversation.
Cold, let me know I can be there. All right. Are you all right?
Yeah.
All right, what's your name, ma'am?
Tyshael Martin.
And what's your date of birth? How old are you?
34.
So you could see her tattoo here is of boyfriend Lil Juan, the father of Jamaria.
34, okay. I'm Detective Mercer. This is Detective Schleibel. All right, so a couple quick questions for you. So yesterday I understand you went to the airport to try to fly some kids out to California to visit their grandmother, correct?
Yes.
What time did you leave the house?
I want to say maybe 5-ish.
Okay.
So, if you're thinking of Jen Soto in the Madeline Soto case, yeah, me too. When you hear this one say, I want to say, that long pause, like, what is she queuing up to lie about? But remember, on June 16th of 2024, they had gone to the airport, and remember, they missed the flight. Remember that whole story? So, yeah, okay.
And then you got to the airport. What happened along the way to the airport?
She threw up.
Who's she?
Jamaria.
Okay. And did you guys get her breakfast? Is that what she threw up?
Yes.
What'd you guys get her for breakfast?
Banana and Gatorade.
Okay, so she threw that up. And then you guys get there, and then what happens?
Well, actually, when did she? Yeah, we was almost there when she threw up. When we got out the car, she was walking fine, and then she was like, when we got halfway down the roadway, she was like, I'm starting to feel weak. So I walked her back to the car, and the girls went ahead of me. So I got in the car, and I went and picked the girls up. I went and told the girls that I was going to go around and for them to go ahead and go to the airport so I can get her wheelchair assistance.
Okay, so you got her a wheelchair?
I wasn't able to.
Oh, you weren't able to? Okay.
No, because when they said that I have to book it through the airline, I have to go through the airline or something to get the wheelchair or something, so we remained in the car.
Okay, so why was she not able to, why was she feeling weak? Just because she was sick, or was she having other injuries?
We just came back from out of the country or whatever, so she's been sick, and about 6-7 other of us. She did fall the other day. We have I guess a leak from the ceiling in our living room, and I guess she said she was walking in the dark and didn't see the dog food bag, tripped over.
Right. There was a leak in the roof. Think about all the details she's sharing now. She's oversharing. She doesn't have to say all this. Ooh, let me alert the police to why she might have injuries on her body. Okay, there was a leak, okay? And so she must have slipped and fallen and tripped over dog food. Yeah. And she's like, oh, we went out of the country or something. On a ship cruise? Weird, she doesn't want to actually talk about that, right? And saying, yeah, she basically hasn't been well since then. You got back on the 9th. Okay? So on the 16th, when Jamaria is not feeling well, she's not having motion sickness from the ship. She is sick from the abuse inflicted.
The dog food bag fell because slipped in the puddle of water. She said she hit her head, but when I checked, I didn't see any bumps or anything. So she said she twisted her ankle. I put a compression sock on and allowed her to ice it.
Okay.
She allowed her to ice it. Not that shame. She really hurt her ankle, and so I was trying to help her with that, and she was in a lot of pain. No, she's just like, I allowed her to ice it. Bet you didn't, though.
Who's this gentleman here?
That's Dad.
Okay, that's Dad.
Yeah.
All right, so store dog food. How long ago did that trip happen?
That was maybe 3 days ago.
So like Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday or Friday.
All right. And then, so that's when she twisted her ankle?
Yeah.
All right. And
Well, she said it felt, I don't know if she really. She said it was a little pain. I just know that you know.
So okay, so did you guys put ice on it? Did you guys give her like any
compression sock and ice?
Okay, compression sock and ice. All right.
And she was actually walking on it fine. She said when she got in the tub to sit down, it swelled up.
Okay.
From being in the water, that's what she said. So we gave her the crutch that we had. The crutch that we had in the house.
Okay.
Remember that Blue Star reagent reacted to the master bathtub. So her talking about the tub, oh man, I'm hearing it with different ears than what she's trying to say it, because there were signs of abuse. There was potential blood evidence in the bath, in that small closet, on the stairway, and that horrifying video evidence of how Jamaria likely injured her ankle that she's talking about here.
She gave her crutches. Did you guys take her to the doctor at all?
No, we didn't.
Okay. And then you said you went out of the country. How did you go? Did you fly or?
So we went on a cruise ship, and
Where'd you guys go to?
Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Virgin Islands. So, not Dominican Republic was the only one out of the country.
Okay, so you guys with all three of them, there, right? That's important in case she has something that she may have got over there. Did she get off the ship at all on these islands?
Yes.
And she was walking around?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so where does, I know Mon's here now. Does he normally live here?
Yes. He's only been gone for, I think, 3 days.
So he left on Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
What does he do for work?
He works at is it a paint? It's a paint shop or something.
Why is he never here? Does he live in Orlando because it's closer to work, or?
I mean, he's in school. We're both never here due to me having to take him backwards and forth to school, and then work, school, and then work, school, and then work.
Is it just easier for him to be in Orlando?
No, right now he's only been there for a couple of days because he had an injury. He busted his head and knocked his tooth out.
Okay. How'd that happen?
He told me that he was on a bicycle. He left the job, got on a bicycle and tripped on the way back to the job.
Okay. Does he know about his daughter already?
So I called him to tell him to come to the house, but I didn't tell him.
Okay, so he doesn't know anything yet. All right, so you guys get home. You guys get home, what, around 10 o'clock in the morning, roughly, from Orlando back to here?
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, around that time.
So early in the morning, like around 10. But, okay, so what happened the rest of the day? What did you do for the rest of the day?
The rest of the day, I took medicine.
What did you take?
I took ibuprofens and stuff and Tylenol to get, my throat was hurting really bad, so the medicine put me to sleep. I was sleeping all day. Jamaria was actually telling me that she felt better. Once we got back, I gave her a popsicle, 2 popsicles. She ate them. She was on the couch. Before I went to sleep, I told the girls I was going to sleep and alarming the house. I believe they went to the park or something.
Jamaria did?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you're not sure. You were asleep, right? So what time did you wake up?
I woke up I woke up periodically. But I stayed in bed.
Right.
You mean like when I found her?
No, like, so did you
I think she was taking substances is what she's saying, okay?
stay in bed throughout the night last night?
So when I went to sleep, it was only about 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So I think I slept to about 12 something, got up, just sat up in the bed, drank something, laid back down, and I think I was calling my mom back because I saw she had a missed call or whatever. I don't remember. I just know that I never got out of bed.
You have your phone with you. Can you look at that phone and see what
So, you know what's interesting is that she's mixing the details of when they got back from the cruise, which was on June 9th, and she's kind of blending that with the night before this interview right here. She's now talking about June 16th. You know, that, oh, no, they got back, they were there, and then taking medicine, and then she slept the whole time. You know, she slept this whole time. But meanwhile, evidence later showed that she was with Jamaria, probably in a room, or not that she had her own room, but with her, the entire time.
Time you called your mom back?
Yes.
Meaning the last night that Jamaria was alive. This abuser, alleged, okay, was with her that whole night.
She called me at 11:43. That's probably what woke me. I called her back at 12:05.
Okay. And then where was Jamaria at that time, at 12:05? Was she in her room, or you don't know, or was she with you?
She was, I don't know where she was at that time.
Okay. You never got up to go check?
No.
Anybody? Okay.
But she sleeps, she doesn't have a room. She sleeps anywhere.
Anywhere? Okay.
Mostly in the room.
Okay.
Or on the couch. Well, she was sleeping in the room, but she was doing things that her dad didn't like, so her dad made her sleep on the couch.
What was that?
Stealing from the girls, talking about boys a lot, being nasty, not bathing and stuff like that.
Okay, so she has sleep on the couch.
You can see, look at her face now. Doing a Chris Watts face. Yeah, she's lying. And saying also that it was Jamaria's dad who didn't like things that she did, and that's why she didn't have her own room. And she just slept anyway, on the couch or wherever, right? Meanwhile, it was very likely all up to this one. And even if the dad, who she just said was hardly there, didn't like something that his own daughter did, why would the stepmother be like, yes, let me enforce that. Let me make sure that she is not treated right, that she doesn't have a room of her own. She's lying.
Okay. So this morning, you get up out of bed and you go to check on Jamaria. What happened there? Like, why did you go in there to check on her?
No, I actually I got up and I turned the light on and I noticed that she was on the mattress.
So she was in the same room you were in?
Yes.
Okay.
I tapped her, just asked her, do she want to go to the do she need to go to the bathroom? And she didn't respond.
Okay. And then you called 911?
Yes.
What was she wearing?
She didn't have on anything.
No socks, no shoes, no clothes, nothing?
No, she must have, but that's normal. Most of the girls walk around like that.
Okay.
I don't know,
Highly doubt it. She's like, that's normal. But she was completely naked. Most of the girls walk around like that. I don't think so. No. I think it was part of the abuse of stripping her naked and, you know, having the dog attack her and do all sorts of things to her body. So, also just to clarify that if you don't remember from the presentation, right? Jamaria didn't have her own room. All the other kids had their own room. Jamaria did not. So when I say she's lying, I think she's lying about who was responsible for that. She's trying to deflect that onto Lowan, but meanwhile, it was her mother's house. It was that she was living in with the kids, and it was her enforcing all these rules and inflicting this physical abuse on this little girl.
I have an autistic daughter, and she does it all day long. I think Jamaria probably was hot or something, or I don't know. But she usually takes her clothes off when she is hot.
Okay. And so she had a burn to the top of her foot. How did she get the burn?
So my daughter, she does hair as well.
Which daughter?
My 9-year, well, all of them, but my 9-year-old daughter does hair, and she did her hair, and they both dipped her hair in the hot water. That's just a method of doing hair. And she said some of the hot water spilled on her foot, but she said she never saw a burn, and I'm thinking it's due to the compression sock being on her.
That she was wearing?
Jamaria never complained about a burn. And we didn't take the compression sock off until today.
Okay. So you took it.
And by hot water, she means boiling water from a kettle that had just boiled, and pouring that hot water onto Jamaria's hair to straighten her hair. But then also that water splashing on Jamaria's foot and her not reacting to it at all. Again, how sad is that? Probably knowing if she reacted to it or complained that it would be worse. It would be made worse. Then that area would probably be targeted even more, right?
So when I said if you found her wearing any clothes, you said no, she wasn't wearing any clothes, and now you're saying you took the compression sock off.
Well, not Monday,
today.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so Sunday you took it off, and then you saw the burn.
Yes.
Did you guys do anything at that point to treat that burn?
Yes.
What did you guys do?
Neosporin. We put Neosporin on it.
No, you didn't.
But it was only at the top of her toe.
Okay.
So I was like,
It didn't look bad.
no, it didn't look bad at all. My daughter said, I believe she said her skin was coming off when she took the compression sock off.
And that was Sunday.
Yes.
All right. Where is Jamaria's sister?
She's with his mom.
And that's in Orlando?
Yes.
All right. Why is she there?
Apparently, she said she didn't want to be around us. We were too strict on her and all type of stuff. That's what she was saying. So it was just becoming too much of a problem, and we made the decision for her to go over there and be cared for, because it was a lot of stuff going on with her.
What happened to...
But yet, in the probable cause affidavit, there's also the statement of them saying, well, Jamaria's young sister was misbehaving and causing problems between Tyshael and Loan. So they sent the little sister to go and live with Loan's mother. But how cruel is that as well, to separate two grieving biological sisters? I've seen it speculated on social media that they think they got the little sister out the way, they being this one, allegedly, so that she could just continue to abuse Jamaria. I'm sure that her little sister was a little warrior and would stand up for her sister. So to target one non-biological child would have been much easier for Tyshael, I hope that little sister is okay. By the way, June 17th, this day was a Monday, so when Tyshael's talking about Sunday, she's talking about the day before this.
Julia and Jamaria's mom?
I believe she had cancer.
Okay.
And passed away.
Okay. You tried doing CPR this morning?
Yes, sir.
And it was not successful?
No, sir.
Okay. Disciplining the kids. Do you discipline Jamaria when she lived here?
Yes.
How do you discipline?
They're supposed to run. If they do something, they're supposed to do squats. Or, Dad had made them just go up and down the stairs or whatever, holding something or whatever. I have popped them on the hands before. I pretty much, if Dad feel like he want to whoop them, leave that to him. No going with the other kids to places, staying home if, you haven't did what you're supposed to do.
Right. When's the last time she got in trouble?
She got in trouble. She hasn't been since on the cruise ship, but she haven't been in trouble since we got back.
Okay. What did she do on the cruise ship?
What a blatant lie that we now know because of the timeline deep dive, right? Oh, on June 15th. Firstly, on June 12th of 2024. That is when videos were deleted by one user of the account, which I'd speculate is this one, right? Who knows what was on that video surveillance? But the video surveillance from June 15th, just 2 days before this, would be of Jamaria being attacked by the Rottweiler at Tyshael's command and being kicked by her and punched by her and swearing at her, everything, right? So to be like, no, she hasn't been in trouble since we got back from the cruise is a lie. They got back from the cruise on June 9th of 2024. So between June 9th and when she died on June 17th, she got in trouble, saying that in air quotes, a lot. So much so that she was murdered. Okay, so she's lying. Look at her. You can actually see it. Like, oh my goodness, look at this liar sitting right here.
She checked herself out of camp, and her dad, I called him and let him know that she did that, and she was like, I was just wanting to go get ice cream or something. And so from there, he just had me put her in timeout and stuff.
So just timeout?
Yeah. So I pretty much had to leave, I have my 4 other kids with me and stuff. I had to pretty much leave her with my mom at certain times, just because, we paid so much money to, go on that trip. I had to divide my time between all the kids.
Right. So she was going to go on that trip to see your mom, Jamaria?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so last question I have for you, last couple questions. All the bites and stuff she has on her, where are those from?
So her and broke out from, she said, the kids told me that she was doing stuff to herself. I didn't witness it myself. But she did break out. Her and Egypt broke out while we were in Puerto Rico. I put medicine on it that she broke out from. But as far as a bite, she has a bite mark from the dog, which was stitched up.
Yeah, that was a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
From 7?
Yeah.
All right. How bad was that dog bite?
To me, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. Just needed stitches. Her dad rushed her to the hospital. That was March of 2024, the only medical treatment that Jamaria received, right? We'd heard about that earlier.
To me, it wasn't that bad because she wasn't she cried for about 5 minutes and it stopped.
How often does she go to the doctor?
Dad has only taken her to the doctor once since we've had them.
How long you guys had them?
Since October of 23.
What was that for?
I guess a regular checkup. I'm not sure.
It was for the dog bite.
No, sir.
Okay. Sorry, do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. You said when you went to, you had everybody downstairs and you were going to go lay down. You set the alarm?
No, I told the girls that I was going to set the alarm on the house.
Okay. Is that something you normally do whenever you go to lay down?
Yes.
Just to make sure the house is safe and everything?
Yeah, because I have an autistic daughter.
Okay. So if a door opens, does the alarm advise
Trigger.
you the door's open?
Yes.
Okay. And you said they went to the park after that.
I think they went to the park, yeah.
Okay, there was the alarm. Did the alarm go off?
No.
Okay.
I hadn't alarmed the house at that time.
Okay. But you said when you went to lay down that you set the alarm.
Yeah, I know. I said I told them I was going to set the alarm.
Okay.
Let me see when I set the alarm.
Just also take note of how calm she is when a child was just found dead in her home. And she's like so chilled, looking through her phone, just answering the questions, just very calm, right? Wouldn't one who isn't like this be hysterical? One tear even. Anything, any concern, any shock, any begging that please, I don't do anything. I can't believe that this happened. Why did she die? There's nothing.
No, it's not. protection.
Okay. And where's the park at that they would go to?
The Montverde Park, behind,
Okay, up by the convenience store?
yes.
Okay. How would they get there from here?
My daughter, she usually just takes the car.
Oh, okay. You're 17. Is that the 17-year-old daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then, when did you know? What time did they get back?
I'm not sure.
Okay. No, that's all I know, Josh.
Do you know how Jamaria got into the room that you were in? My understanding is she was asleep on the couch at some point. And then how did she get into your room?
I'm assuming she walked in there.
She was walking there, you were asleep, you didn't know she was... Was she sleeping on the bed or on the floor?
When I saw her,
Yeah.
she was on the mattress.
On the mattress?
When I called 911, I told them, they said lay her flat on her back. I said she is flat on her back. They
How'd you move her?
said she needed to be on a flat surface, so I removed the mattress from up under her.
Okay, so in your room, how many mattresses are in your room?
The room that she was in,
Yes.
2.
Okay, so 2 mattresses in there. Is that the room that you were sleeping in?
Yes.
Okay, so she was on a different mattress than the one you were on.
Yes.
Okay. And then you took her off the mattress because 911 told you to.
Correct.
Okay. So obviously she's in there, and we got to get the medical examiner's office out here to take possession of her, and then it's going to be a whole, give them the medical information that we have, let them know what trip she's been on, and they can kind of see, test some blood work, and whatnot. Do you have any issue with us searching the house?
I don't.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read this to you while you're here. It's a search warrant for the residence. Kind of get it out of the way because you are the resident. I have to read it to you, okay? All right, so this is a search warrant. It's in the Circuit or County Court of the 5th Judicial Circuit of Florida in and for Lake County. In the name of the state of Florida, to all and singular sheriff and or deputy sheriffs of Lake County, special agents of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, investigators of the state's attorney's office, and all other authorized police or law enforcement officers acting within their jurisdiction. Whereas, a sworn and written affidavit has been electronically submitted to me, the undersigned judge of Lake County, Florida, and whereas the facts made known to me in said affidavit, which is hereby incorporated by reference, have caused me to certify and find that there was probable cause to believe that the laws of the state of Florida, to wit, murder, Florida Statute 78204, have been or being violated on or in the premises particularly described as
Redacted.
an unincorporated Lake County, Florida 34756. The location is a 2-story residence, tan in color, with brown in color ornamental shutters on each side of the front-facing windows. The door is black in color with large numbers above it. Identifying the do you have any issue with us going through your cell phone just to make sure there's nothing? What we're trying to do is clear everything. We don't have anything indicating right now that this is a murder, right? We don't know, right? So we have to treat everything like it's a homicide investigation. Do you have any objection to us going through your phone? Is that no?
No, I don't.
Okay. What's the passcode for your phone?
06. Wait. I use my Face ID, so I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it's 6 or 4 digits. If it pops up, then I can. What, could you try to slide it up?
Yep. The easiest way to do that is right here. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I'll do this. If it'll do it. Not gonna do it. Alright, so now we do this. There you go. So it's 6 digits.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so if you can leave that phone with me, we'll put it on airplane mode, and then we'll go from there. You have a copy of that. We're going to start getting CSI in there to do everything that we need to do, and then we'll get this turned over back to you guys as quickly as possible. We do have waters and stuff for you guys, so if you guys need something, just let one of the deputies know, especially with the kids, alright?
Gas.
Gas, like gasoline?
Yeah.
Are you out of gas?
I ran out with turning the air on.
Let me see if I can get with the chaplain on that.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a problem, but I'll let you know. Alright?
Do I just go back to the car?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that part 1 gave you a really good understanding of what this case is about, who the victim is, and what we're dealing with, so that you are prepared for when we study the police video interview next. Now, as I say, it's already out and about there. So if you want to just watch it, you can. But I would love it if you came to watch with me as we study this case together and just call out her lies, okay? Roll our eyes at her together and just wait for justice for beautiful Jamaria Sessions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, if you see something, say something. And in the meantime, stay safe.